Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for week 29 Premier League fixtures. And I think we're in for a treat because we have the relegation fight heating up, we got the top 4 fight heating up, and we even have the Premier League title race heating up, man. Week 28 games was amazing, nothing to be laughed at. We saw some amazing results like Norwich lose a gut-wrenching loss to Brentford, their relegation rivals. We saw Manchester City teach Manchester United, their neighbours, a footballing lesson, and we even saw Liverpool, determined, hard work, be able to grab a 1-0 victory to keep themselves in the title race this season. So week 29, I just believe is going to build upon this. We got some great games like Manchester United versus Tottenham at Old Trafford. We got Brighton versus Liverpool. We know how both sides, both managers love to play football with their pressing style. We even have Crystal Palace playing at home against Manchester City. And remember the last time Crystal Palace played Manchester City, they beat them at the Etihad 2-0. So I'm telling you, man, these games are going to be great, amazing, phenomenal. But before I go with my video, you know what I'm going to say, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there because I'm like 10 subscribers away from 900 and help my channel grow. Also, if you guys enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel because only 10% of you guys are actually subscribed to my channel. So please hit the subscribe button. So the first game I'm going to be predicting, it has to be this one. Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur. And like I said, both teams are hunting down Arsenal in terms of trying to get into the top 4 place this season. I feel like whichever team loses are completely out of the top 4 race because you cannot lose, especially this late on in the season when you have Arsenal building momentum like crazy. But forget about Arsenal, it's about this game, Manchester United versus Tottenham, Tottenham versus Manchester United. And going into this game, I don't really see this often, but I really don't know who's actually going to win. On one side, we've got Manchester United who need to wipe away their tears, dust themselves off after the horrific, humiliating, embarrassing, pathetic defeat to their noisy neighbours Manchester City at the Etihad, where it looked like they had no chance throughout the whole of the 90 minutes, especially in the second half where Manchester City played rings around them, having 92% of the ball. Manchester United should absolutely be ashamed of themselves, so don't have the confidence or the belief that much going into this game against Tottenham at home, because we know the Manchester United fans are going to be onto them, knowing that they just had a pathetic performance, so they're not going to accept anything but a good performance. And we know how these Manchester United players deal with the pressure, deal with the anxiety. They don't live up to expectations. We've seen against Middlesbrough, we've seen against Manchester City, we've seen against Aston Villa. When teams score a goal, this team just lays down. They can't get back into the game. There's certain goals in certain moments of games. Manchester United do not have the character or the personalities across that pitch to get back into the game. So imagine if Spurs score an early goal, because Son and Kane are nothing to be laughed at. We know they can cause danger at any moment throughout the game. So if Spurs get an early goal, you never know what can happen at Old Trafford, especially since Manchester United don't have a great home record at their own stadium. And not only that do I believe that Manchester United are shaky in terms of having a chance of winning this game, it's also the manager. I know people don't want me to say it, I know people don't really agree with me, but I think Ralf Rangnick has been a step back compared to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ralf Rangnick has overcomplicated all his tactics, bringing in the 4-2-2-2 formation, and then you have him playing 2 midfielders striker. You see him playing Lindelof at right back in the Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. What is he doing? It just feels like he wants to live up to those godlike reputation that people have portrayed that he is to be, creating the Gegenpress, creating all these philosophies, trying to implement it in his side when it's clear as day it doesn't work. So I don't know if I'm going to trust him to implement the right tactics to ensure that Manchester United have the best chance of winning this game. But in terms of the game itself, I feel like it's self-explanatory. Manchester United are home and they need to prove a point, especially since those fans are not going to be happy with the way they've been playing. So they're going to have to start on the front foot. We know Tottenham are going to sit back in that 3-4-3 shape, especially since we've seen against top teams they've been doing that against Manchester City and have so much joy in the counter-attack. I'm telling you, expect Son to lurk around Maguire wherever he is because we know he's not mobile at all. Expect Kane to drop off into the pockets of space, try and provide those through balls over the top for human Son to run onto, because we know Maguire is not good enough at this level to deal with this sort of player. Varane is going to be essential to come back into this side because we know he has the pace, the mobility to get around the pitch. But overall in this game, I can't trust either team. We have Manchester United conceded 4 goals, absolutely poor defensively, and then on the other hand we have Spurs who are just way too inconsistent to bet on. So going in this game, I'm going to be predicting a high scoring game. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between the two sides. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Brighton versus Liverpool, and like I said earlier on in my introduction, These are two teams which love to play the game of football on the front foot with their pressing. We've got Graham Potter on one hand, obviously with the weaker, inferior side, but still giving it a go on the front foot, pressing with his players, hounding the defence of other teams. And then we got Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp, a proven world-class manager. He has proven that he's a winner and shown that with his style of play with the Gegenpress, he suffocates teams in their own half. So going in this game, I'm not surprised if this is going to be a high-scoring game as well. Like we saw earlier in the season where we saw at Anfield, these two teams draw 2-2. But before going this game, I feel like Liverpool are in great form, great spirits. The way we have won, 9-10 games in a row now, it's been absolutely amazing. And although the last game against West Ham wasn't tantalising, it wasn't thrilling, it wasn't completely entertaining, free-flowing the way we were interchanging play, the strikers scoring goals, being clinical. Although we didn't have that in our arsenal in that game against West Ham, at least we got the 3 points, and that's all what matters when it comes to this title race. But going into this game, honestly, Brighton are no slouches. We saw at Anfield the last time we faced them. They are not going to lay down and rest for anyone. They're not going to lay on the laurels thinking that, you know what, even though Liverpool are 2-0 up, you know what, we'll give them the 3 points. They're not going to do that. They will come back into this game and show their bite in their press and try to dominate the game. And in all honesty, in the first game against Liverpool at Anfield, Brighton were the better side across the 90 minutes. So Jurgen Klopp has to tell his Liverpool players, like, look, listen, we saw the last time we played against them, we were 2-0 up. But Brighton have the heart, the courage, the bravery to try come back into this game and dominate the ball and create a load of chances. However, going in this game, it's just so hard for me not to see a Liverpool win. It's so rare. It's an anomaly seeing players like Salah not scoring a game. Diaz obviously creating chances, showing that he can take a player on with his great dribbling skills, literally carrying the ball with such speed, and even Mane getting a good goal. It's just hard for me to believe that Brighton's going to be able to keep this out. We got so many players who are just ready, raring to go to prove themselves right, that they can still obviously score at the highest level, since they weren't able to score in the 120 minutes against Chelsea, and also weren't able to score more than one goal in their last game against West Ham. So going this game, I think Liverpool will win. They have momentum. They've been playing phenomenal. We've been getting results. I'm going to be predicting a 2-0 victory for the away side, especially since Brighton have been in iffy form lately, even poor form, may I say, since they have lost 4 in a row in teams you really think they should be beating. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Arsenal versus Leicester City, and Arsenal must be dancing right now because of the way they've been playing. Absolutely amazing. Obviously Aubameyang leaving, but the way Arsenal was playing against Watford away from home, honestly, it reminded like it was 2014, back in the day when you saw players like Giroud, Wilshere, Rosicky, even when you take it back to Cesc Fabregas in the late 2000s, the way they were flicking the ball around the box with their tricks, one touch, two touch football, pass and move, interchanging. It was absolutely breathtaking, and it literally removed the narrative that Arsenal weren't able to break down low block teams because they were having their own way against Watford away from home. Honestly, it was absolutely marvellous. Players like Saka, players like Martinelli, players like Lacazette rolling the ball off for them, and especially Odegaard, who's really coming into his own. Despite Smith Rowe scoring 10-11 goals in the Premier League this season, Odegaard said, look, it doesn't matter. That number 10 place is my spot and no one's going to take it away from me. And the way he's been playing, the way he's been creating chances and opportunities, slicing through defensive with his eye of a needle passes, he has been absolutely amazing. Honestly, Arsenal have been absolutely spectacular, and I have to give them their credit going into this game against Leicester City. And when it comes to this game, I think it's going to be self-explanatory again. I think Arsenal are going to be the team on the front foot. They have an absolutely amazing record at home, only losing to Manchester City and Chelsea so far this season. So it's just so hard for me to believe that Leicester are going to be one of those sides to beat Arsenal when we know they've been up and down all season. Yes, Leicester City were able to beat Leeds at home, and it was a good, well thought out victory. But if you watch the game like I did, Schmeichel had to make world-class save after world-class save, and Leeds were actually the better side. Leicester City kept sitting back, tried to keep Leeds on the counter-attack throughout the whole of the 90 minutes. But going this game, I think Arsenal are much more better defensively compared to Leeds, so I think that there's not going to be that many opportunities for players like Harvey Barnes to use their pace and quickness to really endanger the Arsenal players in the final third. So I think Arsenal have a great opportunity, especially going into this game, since Arsenal have been playing absolutely marvellous so far. However, like I said, it is key for me to add that Leicester City have had their way against Arsenal, especially at the Emirates, but I feel like times are different threat now. Arsenal are playing well. I feel like Ben White and obviously Gabriel didn't have an amazing game against Watford, making silly mistakes. But I feel like Arsenal's going to have too much of the possession. I feel like Xhaka and Partey will dominate possession, dictate the play and the game. And when you get into the front 3-4 players, I don't feel like Leicester's defence is going to have the ability to shut these offensive weapons out Arsenal do have at their disposal, especially since Saka is playing like he's the best young player in the Premier League so far. So I'm going to be predicting a 3-1 victory for Arsenal at the Emirates against Leicester City. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Crystal Palace versus Manchester City, and I feel like this has the potential to be another amazing game. Honestly, I know I always say this, but the last time these two sides faced off, we saw Crystal Palace pull off an upset, a miracle at the Etihad, and actually beat Manchester City 2-0. So expect those Manchester City players to be raring to go to get revenge against Crystal Palace since they lost their last encounter against them in their own stadium. But going this game, I feel like Manchester City have the confidence, the belief that they can beat Crystal Palace, because we just saw Man City absolutely dominate, destroy their arch nemesis rivals across the town, across the city, Manchester United, 4-1. And I know Manchester City have been excellent this season, and I feel like in the last few games or so, they have teetered off in terms of their form, their free-flowing football, and they were pretty much complacent throughout those games. But I feel like they've picked it up again, and that's what's going to really encourage Pep Guardiola. Because yes, you can get the results against Peterborough, and you can get the results again against Everton, rely on lucky mistakes, rely on good fortune from VAR, but the fact that the performances is finally catching up to the results again, this is going to bode well for Pep Guardiola if they want to keep pushing for the Premier League title race this season. And especially the game against Manchester City, so much to like. We saw Bernardo Silva, excellent form. Jack Grealish carried the ball with such speed, with such ambition, the way he was trying to create chances. And there was a great overload on that left-hand side with players like Cancelo, Grealish and Bernardo Silva, which gave Wan-Bissaka one of the worst games of his footballing career. That freed up players like Kevin De Bruyne to arrive late in the box like Frank Lampard and score goals, which gave Manchester City 2 goals during that game. Obviously, Mahrez had an amazing game as well, scoring 2 goals. But honestly, Manchester City were playing such great football that I just can't see them slowing down in this game against Crystal Palace. I know there's so much to like about Crystal Palace, especially since they've been in good form recently, undefeated in the last 4 games, winning 3 of them. And I feel like they match up well against Manchester City. I feel like players like Gallagher carries the ball with such speed and intensity. And I feel like on the counter-attack, that transition play is going to be so key to expose Manchester City's high line for what it is. Players like Zaha, we know he's always been a nightmare against Manchester City. And we know Crystal Palace can attack with real pace, real sharpness and real intensity, which Manchester City definitely have to be worried about, especially if Diaz doesn't start in this game because he was absent in the game against Manchester United. But like I said, Manchester City have been in such fine form, brilliant play against Manchester United, and the free-flowing interchanging movement, I feel like it's just going to be hard for any team in this world to stop. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for the away side, Manchester City at Selhurst Park. So the last game I'm going to be predicting is Brentford versus Burnley. Both teams in and around the relegation fight, and desperately need the 3 points to start climbing their way away from it to ensure that they can get Premier League survival this season. And in terms for Burnley, a draw's not good enough. I know you like playing 4-4-2, rigid, compact, counter-attacking football, and sometimes favour a draw. This isn't going to cut it now because you are well entrenched in the relegation fight this season. The game against Chelsea, I feel like it just tells the story of Burnley. Yes, in the first half, they played decent football, created an overload of chances. They just lacked that clinical nature, the clinical instinct, the ruthlessness to really put the game to bed. And honestly, if you watch the first half, I feel like they were gifted opportunities by Chelsea. Chelsea was inviting them to try score a goal, but Burnley made it as hard as possible for themselves. So going in this game against Brentford, Weghorst, O'Neill, these guys need to start putting their shooting boots on, man, and try score goals. Because yes, defense wins championships. Burnley are nowhere near trying to win the title of the Premier League. But we know goals wins you games. And going in this game is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, especially against the Brentford side. Although we're in bad form prior to the game against Norwich, had an amazing games. Ivan Toney scored a magnificent hat-trick. Although 2 goals being a penalty, he had an overall well-rounded game. We saw Eriksen show glimpses of his old self at Tottenham and Inter Milan, the way he was creating chances. Even assisted the assist maker for the goal from the corner. So So that's going to do his confidence good going into this game against Burnley. And honestly, when Burnley are going to sit back, especially away from home, we know Brentford are a tough outfit to beat, especially in their own stadium. So a lot is going against Burnley. There's so much to say that Burnley are obviously going to lose this game. Brentford have the goals, they have the home advantage, and Burnley are low in confidence losing their last 2 games. But I can't even lie, there's something about Sean Dyche, the experience, the know-how of grinding out results when they really need it, and I'm not going to bet against him. Give me experience over youth. This is Brentford's first time in the Premier League. Give me Sean Dyche, a seasoned veteran when it comes to relegation scraps in the last 4 or 5 years or so. I think he's going to pull something out of the bag with the experience and get somehow a win. I don't know how, but I just believe in Burnley because I know they find ways to do it. I'm going to be predicting a 2-1 away victory from Burnley. Don't ask me how, but somehow they will do it away from home.